The base Galaxy S26 often gets overshadowed by its big brother, the S26 Ultra. But last year's S25 proved to be one of our favorite compact phones on the market. Now the big question is, can the new S26 hold its ground against its two biggest rivals, the iPhone 17 and the Pixel 10? We're taking a deep dive into the design, display, battery, performance, and cameras to see exactly what little tweaks Samsung packed into this year's release. Hey, I'm Olive, your host here at Versus.com, and remember, you can join our community by hitting that join button below for exclusive videos and perks. And here's a shout out to Melon, Andrew, Chikamzo, and Amrit for becoming Ultra members. The Galaxy looks strikingly similar to last year's model, but it's now adopted the camera island from the S25 Edge. It also grew a tiny bit in size, yet it's still the slimmest of these three, maybe because it once again lacks magnets on the back. In hand, it features sharper edges, but they don't feel uncomfortable like previous models did. Meanwhile, the iPhone and the Pixel feel identical if you look past the materials. Speaking of materials, all three come with matte aluminium frames and glass backs. Both the Galaxy and the Pixel utilize Gorilla Glass Victus 2, while the 17 uses an unspecified kind of glass, not the ceramic shield found on the Pro models. As for weight, the Galaxy is the featherweight of the group at only 6 ounces, with the iPhone trailing just behind. For protection, all three sit at an equal IP68 rating for dust and water resistance. Now, let's move on to the displays. The Galaxy's display grew this year, so we're looking at identically sized 6.3-inch panels across the board. We have LTPO AMOLED on the Galaxy, LTPO OLED on the iPhone, and just standard OLED on the Pixel. All three do support up to 120 Hz, but the Pixel is limited to switching between 60 Hz and 120 Hz rather than just adjusting dynamically like the other two. In our high brightness test, simulating direct sunlight at over 100,000 lux, the Pixel proved to be the brightest, hitting 2,124 nits, though the iPhone took the lead in peak brightness at 3,120 nits. For biometrics, we've got ultrasonic fingerprint scanners on the Galaxy and the Pixel, while the iPhone sticks with its classic Face ID. Both the Galaxy and the Pixel also offer a face unlock option, but don't expect it to be very reliable in low light conditions. Now feel free to pause the video right here for even more info on screen specs. So when it comes to pure multimedia consumption, we'd actually pick the iPhone over the rest. It's a massive jump from the ancient 60 Hz screen on the 16 as it adopts the exact same display tech from the Pro models. We're getting higher resolution, better PPI, Dolby Vision support, and even an anti-reflective coating. It's true that it's not quite as magic as the coating on the S26 Ultra, but it is a very welcome addition. However, a great screen deserves great audio. So let's see if the iPhone shines here too. All three of these phones pack a set of stereo speakers, and here's a quick audio sample for you. Just keep in mind, recorded speaker audio doesn't always reflect what you hear in person.
Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
After testing them side by side here in the studio, we can safely say all three sound great. The Galaxy and the Pixel are pretty much neck and neck, while the iPhone offers slightly richer bass, but again, you can't go wrong with either. By the way, if this review is helping you out, consider hitting that subscribe button. We did notice that a lot of you are regular viewers, and subscribing really helps us keep doing what we love. Also, if you want to check out any of these devices at your own pace, we've dropped direct links for you in the description below. Now, let's see what is up with these cameras. Just a heads up, this is going to be a quick technical overview. If you want to see our full in-depth analysis, make sure to check out our dedicated camera comparison right over here. To avoid repeating myself, the Galaxy doesn't really bring any major novelties to the table compared to the S25, the S24, or even the S23. We're looking at a 50 megapixel main sensor on the Galaxy, while the iPhone and the Pixel both sport 48 megapixel shooters. The Galaxy can now shoot in 20 24 megapixels mode, which is the default resolution for the iPhone as well, though you will need to enable this via Camera Assistant. FYI, the dynamic range isn't as good as in the 12 megapixel mode, but this is mostly in extreme lighting conditions. For video, the Galaxy can push up to 8K at 30 FPS, while the iPhone and the Pixel top out at 4K 60 FPS. Another new addition for Samsung is Horizon Lock, which keeps your shot level no matter how much you shake the phone. Perfect for some motocross action. Moving to ultra-wides, the Galaxy comes in at 12 megapixels, the Pixel at 13 megapixels, and the iPhone packs a much beefier 48 megapixel sensor. For video recording, the Galaxy drops to 4K 60 FPS here, matching the iPhone. The Pixel handles 4K too, but only at 30 FPS. For zoom, we have a 10 megapixel telephoto with 3 times optical on the Galaxy and a 10.8 megapixel telephoto with 5 times optical on the Pixel. Apple still thinks you don't deserve a dedicated telephoto lens on a phone this expensive. Flipping these phones around like pancakes, we've got a 12 megapixel selfie cam on the Galaxy, 10.5 megapixels on the Pixel, and an 18 megapixel sensor on the iPhone. The iPhone sensor is actually square, allowing you to crop into vertical or horizontal shots without physically rotating the phone. For video, we are looking at an equal 4K 60 FPS maximum across all three, so no winner on resolution or frame rate here. Again, go check out that full camera comparison, because even though Samsung didn't change the hardware at all, the S26 is still packing some serious heat. Speaking of heat, let's see how these hold up in our performance tests. The compact Galaxy comes packing the powerful Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy in the US, China, and Japan, while the rest of the world gets Samsung's Exynos 2600, which is the unit that we're testing. The iPhone is powered by Apple's A19 chip, and the Pixel runs on Google's own Tensor G5. For RAM, we've got 12 gigabytes on both the Galaxy and the Pixel, while the iPhone sticks with 8 gigabytes. Samsung followed Apple's lead this year, finally upgrading the base storage to 256 gigabytes. The Pixel, however, still starts at just 128 gigabytes with UFS 3.1, though the higher tiers do jump up to UFS 4.0. Connectivity-wise, the iPhone and the Pixel are eSIM exclusive in the US and a few other regions, whereas the Galaxy keeps that physical SIM support globally. But to see what these chips are made of, we threw them into some real-world testing, starting with gaming. We ran 15-minute sessions with cooldown breaks in between. As you can see, our first game, Grid Legends, is completely incompatible with the Pixel's processor. The iPhone handled it at up to 40 FPS, while the Galaxy is limited to 30 FPS by the game's settings. The iPhone clearly takes the win for performance, though it did get considerably hotter than the Galaxy. In Wuthering Waves, all three hit a 60 FPS ceiling. The iPhone and the Galaxy performed almost identically, but the Pixel saw the most frame drops, dipping to 41 FPS, while also reaching the highest temperatures of the bunch. Moving away from gaming, we exported 99 photos in Lightroom. The Galaxy crossed the finish line first, followed about a minute later by the iPhone, while the Pixel took over 11 minutes to finish the job. We also rendered a 1-minute 4K 30 FPS video in CapCut. While everyone finished in under a minute, the Galaxy absolutely smoked the competition, taking only 15 seconds. Now, benchmarks don't always reflect daily use, but they are great for measuring raw ceiling power. In Geekbench 6, the iPhone spat out the highest single-core score, but it got absolutely destroyed in multi-core by the Exynos on the Galaxy. The Pixel, it was just chilling in the backseat. In 3D Mark's Wildlife Extreme stress test, the Galaxy secured the top spot in the best loop, and was basically on par with the iPhone in the lowest loop. The Pixel's best scores didn't even touch the lowest scores from the other two. Since Antutu is OS dependent, we can't do a direct cross-platform comparison, but between the two Androids, you can probably guess who came in last. So it seems like Samsung has finally figured out Exynos. The Galaxy comes out on top for raw power in benchmarks and even heavy productivity tasks and gaming. You really aren't getting a worse phone if you have the international variant this time around. So props to Samsung. That said, as we saw with Grid Legends, iOS still gets more love from developers, often unlocking higher frame rates and a better selection of console ports like Assassin's Creed or Resident Evil. As for the Pixel, Google clearly prefers to spend its energy on software and AI instead of raw horsepower. The Galaxy ships with One UI 8.5 out of the box, while the Pixel runs the latest Pixel UI featuring the March quarterly update. Both are running Android 16. Meanwhile, the iPhone is powered by iOS 26.3.1. Both Samsung and Google promise 7 years of updates, and while Apple doesn't give an official number, they typically match that support window too. One UI 8.5 brings some quality of life updates, like quick settings, resizing, and reorganizing. We have tons of Galaxy AI features for text composing, photo editing, and article summaries. New is Now Nudge, which suggests info based on what's on your screen. But the real highlight is the new Bixby, which is now backed by Perplexity, allowing you to change device settings using natural language. And don't worry, Samsung DeX is still here for that full desktop experience. Over on iOS 26, we have the new liquid glass design with deeper personalization. While Apple Intelligence is now more useful, it still feels clunky since the system just hands off most of your questions to Google or ChatGPT. Even worse, there are reports it will get completely replaced by Google's Gemini very soon. On the bright side, you'll always find the best pro-level apps here for things like photography and video editing. Then there's the Pixel, with its funky UI and playful animations. On the Pixel, you get gems like Now Playing for passive music recognition, call screening, and a brand new desktop interface just like Samsung DeX. Plus, you can finally kick out that at-a-glance widget. AI is the heart of this phone. We have app icon generation, Magic Queue pixel screenshots, and Pixel Studio just to name a few. While Gemini and Circle to Search are also available on the Galaxy, the Pixel always gets the latest Android features first, making it, in our opinion, the best software experience of the three. But now let's move on to our last category. The S26 gets a larger 4,300 mAh battery compared to the 4,000 mAh cell in the S25, but the Pixel still packs the beefiest battery of the bunch. For wired charging speeds, the Pixel tops the chart at 30 watts, while Apple takes the lead in wireless charging with up to 25 watts. All three support reverse charging via cable, but only the Galaxy and the iPhone offer reverse wireless charging, though the iPhone is exclusively limited to MagSafe battery packs and nothing else. To test real-world endurance, we calibrated all screens to 500 nits and turned off all battery-saving features. We then ran our 9-app loop, which includes social media scrolling, 4K video recording, web browsing, navigation, gaming, video and music streaming, plus a bit more video recording and gaming. The first one to say hasta la vista was the Pixel, tapping out after 8 hours and 2 minutes. 2 hours and 38 minutes later, the Galaxy left the game, while the iPhone just kept on going for 11 hours and 5 minutes, claiming the crown for best autonomy. To bring them back to life, we plugged them into a 100 watts charging brick. The Galaxy was the first to be ready to rumble in just 1 hour and 12 minutes, peaking at 24 watts. The iPhone was only 2 minutes behind, hitting 33 watts, while the Pixel trailed significantly, taking 1 hour and 26 minutes and reaching a peak of 26 watts. But there's one change on the Galaxy this year that might not be so welcome. The base S26 now starts at $899, a full $100 more expensive than the iPhone and the Pixel, which both sit at $799. And that extra $100 could buy you about 160 Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. But the reality is that the Pixel is almost always on sale. Right now, for example, you can snag it for just $599, making it a massive $300 cheaper than the Galaxy. So this time around, we have better performance on the Galaxy compared to on the iPhone. And that is despite our unit running the Exynos chip. However, at full retail price, the iPhone still feels like the better value right now. Apple really supercharged the iPhone 17, giving it a superb display, upgraded cameras, longer screen on time, and superior base storage, all while keeping the price unchanged. However, if you can wait a few weeks and snag the Galaxy for the same price as the iPhone, you'll get a serious winner on your hands. Just keep in mind you will need to grab a case with built-in magnets if you actually want that MagSafe functionality. The Pixel, it's the cheapest of the three, which makes it easier to forgive its shortcomings, especially in the performance department. That said, we'd still love to see Google either match the performance of its price rivals or just return to its Nexus roots and slash the MSRP permanently. On the other hand, if you just want a reliable phone with the smartest software on the market, the Pixel is your champion. If you want to see how the Ultra, Pro Max, and Pro XL versions of these phones stack up, make sure to click this video right here. And before you go listen to Bad Bunny again, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and hit subscribe, because we're always testing the latest tech to help you make the best choice. We'll see you in our next video, and until then, take care.